Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pomo Arts Virtual Artist Talk with Nicole Ponsart. I'm Caitlin Hill. I'm the marketing coordinator here at Pomo Arts, and tonight I'll be filling in for our gallery manager, Janice Cotter. Before we begin, I would like to thank our longtime supporters, the City of Port Moody, the Province of British Columbia for their support through the Community Gaming Program, as well as the Government of Canada for their support through the Canada Summer Jobs Program and Peller Estates. I would also like to thank our 2021 gallery sponsor, Edgar Development, for their generous support. Nicole Ponsart is one of two Qui-Am Choice Scholarship recipients this year. The scholarship was established in 2007 in memory of Qui-Am Choi, who was an active member of the Pomo Arts community and the Korean Artists Society of Canada, and was a mentor to young emerging artists. The scholarship supports emerging artists by covering the cost of mounting a solo exhibition at Pomo Arts, allowing recipients to further their skills and expertises, to expand their artistic careers, and to enable them to better promote their work. Now let me introduce Nicole. Nicole Ponsart is a sculptor who lives and works on the unceded territory of the Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam First Nations, or what is known today as Vancouver, British Columbia. She earned her Bachelor of Fine Arts degree from Emily Carr University of Art and Design with a major in visual arts and plans on pursuing a master's degree in ceramics in the coming year. Growing up a competitive athlete and working artist in Coquitlam, Nicole combines her acute eye for detail with a competitive mindset and ambitious work ethic to produce a large volume of work annually. Her practice is primarily in the medium of ceramics, and she works to bridge nature with conceptual modernism through her large-scale sculptures. She believes in enriching the arts community through the sharing of knowledge, impacting positive experiences, and collaboration with others. After Nicole's talk, we will have a short Q&A. So if you have any questions for Nicole, please post them in the comments. Now I will pass it off to Nicole for her artist talk. And welcome, Nicole.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm going to share my screen. Give me one sec here.
Yes, the joys of technology.
How fun. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. This is so surreal being able to do something like this in this day and age from two different points in the country and being able to broadcast over Facebook Live. It's pretty crazy to think about. Right now, I am in Medicine Hat at Medelta doing an artist in residence for the month of June. I'll be here until the end of the month, making some work and hopefully sharing it with you guys once it's all finished up. So I just want to acknowledge that I'm on the land of the traditional territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy out in what is now Medicine Hat, Alberta. The people of this Treaty 7 region signed at Blackfoot Crossing in 1877 consist of three First Nations: the Kainai or Blood, Piikani or Pagan, Siksika or Blackfoot. And the Treaty 7 region of Southern Alberta also includes the Tsuut'ina or Sarsi and Stoney Nakoda First Nations. I'd also like to acknowledge and honor that we're also on the homeland of the Métis people. I want to first take the time to give you a digital show of my work that I have exhibited in the for the Qui-Am Choi Scholarship Exhibition at Port Moody Arts right now. I was lucky enough to set this up before I left, and this is one of my favorite parts about creating sculptural work is setting it up and displaying it. So I had a lot of fun doing this, and I think I'm pretty proud of how it looks. I think it's great, and it was really great to do. So I'm going to give you a digital show from like left to right around the room, and then I'll go through some of the pieces that I made for this exhibition. First, I'm going to take you through some of the inspiration that I had when I was creating the concept for this show and the work. I started with this notion last summer of using my time to be able to take an imaginary road trip with all the COVID restrictions that were happening the thought of being able to travel was just this distant kind of memory. I thought would never be possible again. There was no end in sight, and the pandemic just seemed to be rolling on and on and on. So being at home was really hard for me. Going into my 4th year at Emily Carr, I had very ambitious plans for what I wanted to do, and I felt like the tablecloth was kind of ripped out from under me when it happened. So I took the time to give myself something to do and some homework and some research. I did this over the summer of last year, and it is what alluded to the body of work that I did for the Kwiam Choi exhibition. So I started with I just bought some maps and atlases and asked friends at work if they had books, and we did kind of a swap, and I spent my time just reading and researching these places that I was always so enamored with, which was the southwest of the United States. I imagined being able to drive through this area of the US to visit my family in Houston, Texas, where my aunt, uncle, and cousin live. I thought that along this journey, I would, of course, get some inspiration for work that I would then produce in real time for my 3-dimensional work. And so I tried going about it this way in order to kind of stimulate that same sense of like wonderment and travel that I get a lot of my inspiration from. So as I took this virtual tour using my atlases and my map books, I was sketching on the side or thinking in my mind of things that I wanted to make that would kind of resemble the things that I had like seen along the way. So some of these places through Utah, Arizona, the western side of Texas, New Mexico, all alluded to the body of work that I was playing with this past year. Now, the stuff that you see at the Kwiam Choi exhibition on the online gallery, or even in person if you go, is maybe a fraction of the work that I created throughout the year. I didn't really know how I wanted to display my idea, and so I just started making. I just made so much. There are so many pieces and components to this body of work, and the pieces in the Kwiam Choi exhibition were the finals that I ended with. But some of this work that I'm showing you now is kind of the process along the way and different forms and pieces that I created with that same inspiration in mind, but maybe that didn't make the cut for the final exhibition. I always like, I don't know, I like sharing these. If you're a ceramic artist, I'm always so enamored with how other people make things. And I find I do a lot of learning through watching how other ceramic artists work. And especially now with everything being online, I learned a lot this past year, being able to just watch through Zoom or YouTube or anything, little video clips on Instagram, TikTok, things like that. Watching how other people work allowed for me to tweak my skills while I worked by myself in the studios at Emily Carr. Of course, there's other students there, but we all need to keep a safe distance. So it wasn't quite the same as it was in previous years. So sorry, some of the Kwiam Choi pieces in the kiln for their bisque, all snuggled in, and you can see some of them are the final pieces that are in the exhibition right now. Some of them didn't quite make it through this firing. So originally, some of these pieces were meant to be oriented a different way, and now they're maybe laying horizontal or displayed vertically. One of the things that I was going through this past year with my work was trying to create forms that didn't have a distinct bottom. So a lot of the bottoms were rounded and smooth so that they could be moved in different ways. Of course, after they were fired, they were a much more they could handle them a lot better, and they wouldn't break. So once they were fired, I was able to play around with how I wanted them displayed. And of course, with rounded bottoms, things don't want to stay standing after they've been fired. So now I'm going to take you through kind of the space at Pomo Arts, and I'm going to go kind of like left to right clockwise around the room, and then we'll go through some of the pieces individually. So on the first far left-hand side, it's just kind of a shot of the space. And we start to move around the room. And I was very fortunate to have this space with nice big windows. And of course, these pieces are some of the biggest I've ever made, and really pushed my body to the limit. So I'm very happy that I got the nice big space there, and Janice helped grab some huge plinths to display this work. So there it is. So these I used to call, or I guess I still call them, my numerical test beans. And these forms were pieces that I would make in place of test tiles to test glazes. So originally, when I thought about this exhibition, I envisioned these pieces all being glazed. And throughout the course of the year, I just really didn't like, I don't know, I didn't like anything that I was doing in terms of the glazing, and it just wasn't working for me. I thought, I'm just going to leave them kind of naked or raw, or use the raw materials to accentuate the forms rather than coat it in a glaze that would completely encompass the surface. So these pieces I used almost as, well, the test tiles, of course, and then thinking about a road trip, the things that you collect along the way. So if I'm to think of back when I was young, my grandpa would spend summers down in Phoenix, Arizona. And when he would come back, he'd always bring me a little bag of rocks. And as a child who collected rocks, this was like the highlight of my summer, getting this bag of rocks they were so amazing. They're from Arizona. So you can imagine I have these little amethyst crystals and all of these different colored stones. And they were just so beautiful, and so they're still so treasured to me. I still have them. That these beans started to take on that kind of that notion of the road trip, where these things were things picked up along the way in my imaginary road trip. So bundling them together, I'm kind of pretending or imagining that they are from another location, where maybe this bundle is from Utah and the next bundle would be from Arizona. So just kind of being playful and allowing these bundles to kind of, just a bit smaller than some of the ones that I've done in the past. In the past, they've been anywhere from 100 to 200 beans displayed at one time. So I think a little bit more approachable for my road trip vision. The next was this piece. This was the last piece I got to make at Emily Carr, and oh man, I have such a tough relationship with this piece. It really hurt my back and my body, and COVID was hard and no one was ever around the school at the right times. I like to work late at night, and this piece was really heavy. That became a huge challenge to move it around alone, or asking a security guard to come help me move this piece off of a table, or if somebody walked in to go empty a kiln, I'd like attack them and get them to help me. So this piece is very big. It's almost 4 feet long. It weighs over 100 pounds. My back hates me for moving this around by myself, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. And it's certainly the biggest, most complex piece that I have ever made. And I already miss being able to use the giant kilns at Emily Carr. I would love to build this way more. And I hope that I can do this for in the future for a master's degree, building larger than this. It'd be really wonderful. Next is a terracotta, the Utah and Arizona series that I worked with. These pieces are personal favorites of mine. Until now, I haven't wanted to part with any of them. A lot of them I still don't want to part with. I really loved this clay body. It's Darcy's 04 with mica, and it is fabulous to hand build with. It's fabulous to wheel throw with, and I just absolutely love the color, the texture. Up close, there's like this glitter kind of shimmer to the clay body itself, and it is just a dream to work with. This series was the first set of kind of pieces that I worked with the notion of collection, like a collection in mind, that I had for this road trip idea. I was really happy with these. I think I have over 15 forms. A lot of them live in my mom's storage locker. Sorry. But yeah, 5 of them made the cut for the Kwiam Choi exhibition, and I love these ones. They're my personal favorites for sure. Get some close-ups. So some of them, the surfaces are a porcelain enamel that you cure in the oven. Some are sigillata, some are slips, some have acrylic. It all varies piece to piece. And I think collectively as a group, they're really interesting and play their own little story in regards to this road trip idea. This definitely gives me the Utah, Arizona vibes. So I hope it does for you as well. These are my other 2 pieces. The one on the far right is my very personal favorite. I don't know if I'll ever sell it. It was maybe the first one I did in the series. And I coated it with a nice a sigillata that I created the color myself using Mason stains, a 6600 for any ceramic people that are listening. And yeah, I just really love the surface. Again, with these, the clay body was just fabulous to work with, and it is certainly one of my favorites. It's something that I'm going to be playing with terracotta from Plainsman while I'm here at Medelta. So it's an avenue that I'm exploring for sure. Some close-ups of them. Here's me not paying attention to the camera, but I think it gives a good visual for me to scale with these pieces. The one on the taller plinth was another really heavy one, and it was fun to create with the nice rounded bottoms. I had it as I was constructing it, where the 3 points meet the surface. I had big kind of car wash sponges under each point, so that as it shrinks down, it kind of skates along a bed of silica sand as it's drying. I really hate wasting clay, so I didn't want to roll out a slab and fire it that way. And I was so paranoid about things cracking. And of course, being at Emily Carr, being under the pressure of only being able to be there for a few months, you want to make sure you get it right the first time so that you're really maximizing your output with the time that you dedicate to building. So here's some close-ups of that one. The surface, I really played with a lot of different ideas with the surface. I'm laughing a little bit in my head because I originally thought I was going to paint these spots and things on it that I have done in the past. I really like the spots. Some people don't like the spots. And, you know, for some of them, I did paint them. And then I got to that point and I was like, what have I done? Oh no. So I had to strip it off, and that was quite an adventure. So that's kind of a little story behind them. I had to strip all the paint off, sand them, and like scrub them with the steel brush to get that paint off back to the raw clay body. And as I was scraping and scrubbing it off with these steel brushes, the steel from the brush would leave this kind of steel like marks in the curvatures where I was really having trouble getting some of the paint off. And then I was like, you know what, I really like this. This looks kind of cool. And I wouldn't have come up with this if I didn't go through that whole process of 3 days of stripping paint off of these. So there, that's that's how they ended up that way. Now off over to the kind of, if you're looking at the gallery, this is the like back right top corner. These 2 pieces in the window, I really love these. And the biggest one here, this was a bit of a challenge to work with as well. Building this big with the concept of a rounded bottom became really challenging. And as I got bigger and just kind of started building and following my imagination with the form and how it flowed, so did where it wanted to balance in different places all the time. I had it propped up nicely at the school, and as soon as I moved it one time, it just didn't want to ever sit back down in its original position. I had to, again, get my friend Caitlin Hurley to help me move this, and it was quite impossible to do alone. So I'm grateful that there were people around the studio to help me do this. But it was a fun experience, and definitely one that I've mastered and perfected with the trials and tribulations of these large pieces. Again, the surface is the same as I described before. It came from the scrubbing with the steel brush, leaving those marks, and then I accentuated some of those areas with these nice kind of like iron pigmented acrylics, which kind of helped give a bit more of like a solid tone to some of the spots where the steel wasn't really gripping onto the clay. Their option there. Oh, that's the end of my slideshow. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, and perhaps Caitlin has some questions, or anyone else has questions. I'd be happy to answer them.
Yes, so now is the time for everybody watching. If you have any questions for Nicole, please post them in the comments. I will say, Nicole, you've gotten some really, really lovely comments and lots of love from some family members in the comments.
Oh.
So I recommend you go and read them after this is over. And then while people are commenting, I actually had a question for you, which is, of all the places you researched for the exhibition, do you plan on visiting any of them when we're able to?
Oh, I would love to. My goal this next year is to write a grant proposal to be able to actually go do this physical road trip and see if I could maybe get some help with funding to help me go on this trip, and then maybe do an artist in residence along the way. I would love that. I mean, that would be the dream, but of course, COVID, I had no idea that it would be going on this long. And of course, like I'm at a residency right now I was supposed to do last summer. So I don't know. I would love to do it, and I hope that it really works out before I go back to school again. So if I'm not able to do it before, I would certainly love to do it after my master's.
Very cool. And then I've got a question from Diane in the comments, which is, what is your grandest imagination for your master's degree?
Ooh. And I would, I don't know. My grandest imagination. I mean, I would love to go somewhere where it didn't break my bank. And like possibly bankrupt me. I would love to go somewhere really big in the US or Canada or around the world. But I mean, like I just graduated with my BFA from Emily Carr, and I grew up in Vancouver, so I was already living here. So the thought of having to move and do all these things, I just think of like dollar signs in the back of my mind, and like, how much is this going to cost me? But I mean, what you get from going to school is, I mean, you certainly get what I got, what I paid for sure, and more. So I don't know. I'd love to go somewhere on the East Coast, or somewhere in the Midwest would be really nice, so that I'd be close to the things that inspire me. I'd really just like to see another part of the continent. I've lived in Vancouver my whole life, and even now, just being in Medicine Hat, I'm so amazed at the world that we live in and the different places in between. So I don't know, that's my grandest imagination, is being able to go somewhere that doesn't break my bank, that I can see a new part of the world.
Yes. Jillian's question is related, which is, where are you going to do your master's? Do you have a plan yet?
I have some school. I'm a planner. So I have an Excel spreadsheet of 6 schools that I have narrowed it down to, but I have not put my applications through. I'll put my applications through in December, maybe at the end of the summer. I don't know. It depends what I make while I'm here at Medelta and what I finish making in the summer. But I'd like to put my applications in for the fall and see where I go. But my plan will be to go kind of by this time next year. I'll be preparing to leave somewhere, but I haven't been accepted anywhere yet. Of course, I'll be applying to Alfred. It's my dream school. I've always wanted to go there for a ceramics master's degree. That's my number one choice. I think it is for many ceramic artists. So we'll see where the world takes me.
For sure. And then can you tell me about how you were able to adapt your ceramic practice with restrictions at the Emily Carr Studios? So did that change kind of the way you were able to work?
Yes. So I mean, I was really nervous going back to school in the fall. I had no idea what to expect. I was really on the fence if I even wanted to go back at all, because I thought that the access wouldn't be the same, the community wouldn't be the same, et cetera, et cetera. So I ended up just sticking with it. And, I was like, you know what, I'm a year away, I'll just get it done. Not a big deal. So I got there, and I mean, there was never I never had a moment where I felt unsafe or like I was going to get sick. Everything was so clean and organized and well thought out that I didn't ever have those fears like I originally kind of had. As soon as I got into the studio, everything was like really spaced out, and we had to kind of book appointments to go in and use the facilities. So you were kind of there with maybe a maximum of 8 people in this huge studio. So you had lots of space and time. The best thing that came out of that was the space. I mean, Emily Carr Ceramics is very popular, and there are lots of students that do it. Obviously, with COVID, the number of international students that weren't able to come back to campus, or students that were maybe moved back home or whatever, it made it so that there weren't very many of us that were physically in the studio at the school. So I was able to take up a lot more space than I had in previous years, and I'm very grateful. I don't think I would have been able to make as much as I did or learn as much through making without COVID being present. I was very fortunate in that sense. Yeah, that's definitely the biggest thing that came out. Like, there was never a lineup for a kiln. You never had to kind of battle for a spot. There's just space and time, and the people were lovely, and it created a really strong community in the ceramic studio. So that was really great.
Oh, that's a beautiful silver lining, for sure.
Yeah.
And Sue Kirby wants to know, obviously ceramics is your first love, but are there any other mediums that attract you?
Yes. Metal, cement. I mean, I guess they're all, like, if you really think about it, they're all kind of along the same vein. I was kind of into like wood carving for a little bit, but then I kind of lost the trajectory. But yeah, ceramics and like anything like valuable like that has always been something that I gravitated towards. I mean, like as a kid, I would love just digging holes in the yard and digging up plants and digging trenches for water and just constructing things out of dirt. So anything that follows that line, I think is that's definitely the medium that I'm always gravitated, something that I can like manipulate with my hands.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah, something without power tools. I'm kind of scared of power tools. So I mean, like a drill is like where I think the line is for me. I can do that. But like saws and things, like the loud noises freak me out. And so anything that doesn't involve that.
Interesting. And Jillian mentioned that Medalta is such an inspiring spot. So do you want to tell us about what you're doing there and kind of what's next in your creative process?
Sure. So last year, at the beginning of COVID, I mean, a month before COVID happened, let's imagine, Emily Carr partners with Medalta, and they give out a scholarship every year to a student. And last year, I was the winner of that. So we had to apply to go as if we were going to go for residency. And then the faculty at Emily Carr with some outside people were on a panel and they made a decision, and I was chosen, and I was so happy and everything was so great. And I was just over the moon, pumped to go. And then COVID happened and it was devastating. I was so heartbroken. I was really looking forward to being able to go. But yeah, essentially Emily Carr sends somebody every year, and so do all of the, well, I shouldn't say all, a lot of other universities do this, and all of the students get to go at the same time. So right now I'm here with the recipient from Kwantlen, Zoe, and we're here right now. And normally, like the University of like Lethbridge, Alberta University of Arts, or whatever it's called now, some schools out east, there's a bunch of people that send one student from each school, and then you all come here and as a collective environment work together. And you get a month residency, kind of semi paid for, and you stay in this artist lodge all together. It's like fancy university dorm housing. It's like, I really like it. It's really nice here. Yeah, so I got to come this summer after the travel restrictions were lifted in BC. So Zoe and I were able to come, and we get to spend a month here and use the facilities and do whatever we want. We can make as much or as little as we want and just really take in the experience.
Very cool. And are you working on anything right now?
I am, yeah. So I started, I only got going on stuff, maybe, I'm losing track of the days now because every day is like this lovely vacation while I'm here. I think I started them a couple days ago, 2 days ago. Some more sculptures along the same vein of where I was going, but now I'm trying some new things in terms of the construction of the forms. And I'm kind of leveling up my skills and abilities to sculpt with cone 10 clays and see how they turn out in reduction in the nice kilns here. And yeah, so I'm just kind of playing around with different ways of constructing these big forms and trying to mitigate cracking, and how big can I go and how small can I go. I mean, it's so like, it's 35 degrees here. It was today. It's like, I think it's still 30 degrees right now. I'm sweating as I'm sitting here, and the stuff dries so quickly. So you're actually able to make things pretty quick. If you just leave it uncovered for an hour, it's like you're able to just keep going. You could trim a bowl that you throw on the wheel after like 2 hours of it just sitting out. It's great. So yeah, it's pretty, it's been a fun experience so far. So we'll see how the rest of the month turns out.
Very nice. And in terms of your work, do you see yourself kind of working with those larger abstract forms a lot more? Is that kind of the vein your work is going in?
I think so. I really loved building big at the school, and I think I built as large as I physically could handle. And I probably could go a little bit bigger at Emily Carr, but I mean, a forklift would be really great. Like some sort of system where I don't have to like physically carry these things with like very nervous other people that I'm trying to like rope in to like help me load a kiln these things. So I would really love to build bigger, and it's one of the main focuses of how I'm choosing where I want to go to school next, is somewhere that can facilitate my kind of dream of building this way. A lot of these other places that have the means for you to build this big also have really cool glass programs, which I've always been interested in, but I've never gone to a school that offers glass blowing. I just think that would be really neat to learn. So yeah, that's definitely the kind of the vein that I'm traveling on now, is this kind of larger scale abstract sculpture.
Very cool. And kind of coming back to the exhibition, Karen would like to know, is there any one piece in the current exhibit that really speaks to you more than any of the others?
Oh, I don't know. I really like the Utah series that I did, and I think it's Utah 1, that one with the kind of gray sigillata on the one face of it. There's something about that piece. I don't really even know what it is. It's like anything, you could relate it to anything in anyone's life. There's just something about it, there's something about it that just draws me in, and I just like holding it, and I like moving it around, and I like the different angles of it. And it was really, I don't know, had a good relationship. Well, that was like kind of like the first thing I got to build that was a bit bigger than a bean when I got back to Emily Carr, and I just have really fond memories, and that's probably my favorite.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe now's a good time to mention for everybody watching that the gallery is open to the public, so you are welcome to come and see all of these beautiful pieces in person. You can check our website, pomoarts.ca, for our hours. And let me see if there are any more questions for you. I think that might be it. There's some really lovely comments. Diane comments, I see huge pieces in public spaces all over the world. It's very exciting to be along for the ride.
That's my aunt Diane in Houston, and she was her, my uncle James, and my cousin Elise. They were the inspiration for this project, as they were for all of the work I created this last year with the borders being closed. And I mean, the US just went through such a tough time, and they really had some ups and downs. So I was thinking about them almost every day, and they were the reason I created all this work. So thank you so much for tuning in.
Oh, yeah, well, I think that's it for our questions. I don't see any more.
Oh, no worries. Thank you so much.
We just had one from Nathan, who is wondering, are there any artists that you've had a chance to learn from or work with that have inspired you along the way? Or is there anybody you would like to learn from?
Oh man, I was really lucky that I had Julie York and Brendan Tang as my two main instructors this last year, and I learned so much from both of them. Like, I mean, I'd pay the same amount of money I just paid for my last degree to just get private classes from them for another 4 years. They're so knowledgeable, and they were so beyond helpful and supportive for the community of ceramics at Emily Carr. I learned a lot from them, and I think I'm pursuing a master's degree because they encouraged it, and it just really opened my eyes to the world of ceramics. I'm really inspired lately by Ken Price's sculpture work and how they create some of their surfaces. I like to use, I don't know why, I always like to use acrylic paint on ceramics for some reason, and some ceramic artists think that's very faux pas. So Ken Price did it and created an incredible career. And I've been doing a lot of research since I got to Medalta on how I could achieve something along the same vein, or just kind of see how they work, and how I could take that into my own practice, and how I could adapt that. But yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yes. Speaking of colors, I really enjoy the color palette you use in your exhibition. It's obviously very reminiscent of your inspiration from it, but I'm wondering if you ever kind of go outside of that color palette and kind of experiment with brighter colors ever.
Oh, yes. So when I first was playing with this notion of this imaginary road trip, I went on this really whimsical, almost Alice in Wonderland kind of fantasy world that I had in my head. I really wanted to just get out. So I booked a exhibition space at Emily Carr, and I painted these huge, colorful murals on the wall. I have some pictures of it on my website. And then, I love doing that. That was great. But I wasn't sure if I was going to come to Medalta in the summer, and I didn't want to, transform your whole gallery into this multicolored, the amount of work that goes into it is it's a lot. So I didn't know how it would work out. So I thought, this is something I want to play with. I don't really know how it'll turn out, and I just want to go for it. So I booked a space at Emily Carr, and I painted these huge, colorful blobs on the wall. And I was able to exhibit my Utah and Arizona series in the space. So all those kind of terracotta colored ones. There's a lot more that have maybe painted spots and all these different bright colors on them. So I had them all in that space together, and it created a really fun environment. Unfortunately, that one was closed to the public. Of course, it was like right in the height of COVID. And then afterwards, I think it was in early March, I was able to kind of replicate that same exhibition at the LePont Gallery in Richmond. I was a part of the show called Earthbound, which was curated by Anthony Dunlop, a student from Emily Carr who graduated a year ahead of me. And they were gracious enough to invite me to be a part of their show. And I was able to do that same mural kind of experience on the walls behind my pieces. And I thought it kind of played really nicely. I love bright colors. I think that's why I'm so drawn to Ken Price's work. It's just so interesting to me, the colors. And it's definitely something I want to use in the future as I build bigger, but also go brighter. And it's just kind of fun. I don't know, like we all had such a crummy last year, most of us. So the fun, bright colors, it just kind of brings a smile to people's faces, and it doesn't need to be any more pretentious than that. It's just nice. It's like a fun thing to look forward to and to go see. So that's hopefully what I would like to kind of keep making.
Oh, that's so exciting. And for anybody interested in seeing that, we did just post the link to Nicole's website in the comments, so you can save that and go check out more of her work afterwards. Nicole, do you have anything coming up you want to promote? Let us know where to find you on social media, all that kind of stuff.
Sure. You know what? I don't really have anything coming up. I mean, at the end of this month, I'm going to post my photos of the work that I make at Medalta. I'll probably post them on my website. I mean, I don't imagine most people are going to be able to make the drive out to see them. So I'm hopefully going to do that by the end of the month. My website, of course, is in the link that you guys shared. My Instagram is Nicole Ponsart Ceramics. I think it's on my website as well. Yeah, that's it. I'm very grateful that you guys extended this opportunity for me to be able to do this. Thank you so much. It's been a really great journey this past year being a part of this experience, and being able to share it with all of you it's been really fun. So
yes, well, we're so lucky to have you. The exhibit is absolutely fantastic. And like I said, gallery's open if you want to come visit in person. But if not, the entire exhibition is online in our digital gallery as well. And before we sign off, next week we are back with another virtual artist talk with the other Qui-Am Choice Scholarship recipient, Jillian Hay. And we'll be taking a look through her exhibition, Enough Choice Makes a Steady Midnight. So I hope you will join us for that. And thank you so much for coming this evening. Have a great night.
thank you. Have a good night, everyone.